Yayin, Purim, Machal, yeah, okay. Chayav Adam, L'Psum V'Purim, Ad Le'Adam. So everyone knows the Gemara says in Megillah of Zion, the Gemara says that Chayav L'Psum, a person has to drink. This is what Pashas with the Gemara means. Chayav L'Psum V'Purim, Ad Le'Adam. Then the Gemara brings on a story, Kam Rav V'Shach L'Rav Zera. And the Gemara brings on the story, so the Shitta Rabbeinu Ephraim, the Ram brings down the Shitta Rabbeinu Ephraim, that this is a proof that since Kam Rav V'Shach L'Rav Zera and something negative happened from the story, is proof that you don't have to drink to Ad Le'Yada. But other Rishonim say, no, Adar, it's proof fakert, because the Gemara says afterwards that the next year, Lashon Acheres, Rava calls Rav Zera and says, maybe you should do it again. And he says, Lav Kol Yom Misrachas Nishla, not every year miracles happen. So therefore he can't come. He could have told him that the halacha is no longer that you have to drink. So it's a right that you have to drink. And that's the halacha. Chayav l'psumim. Let's go through the words chayav. What does it mean chayav? It's a very strong language of Chazal, and it says chayav adam. So there's a chamsvi. Chamsvi is brought down also by the Kloizim Rabbi and Dibra Tziv, Sibik Kuf Tzadik Zayin. Brings down Mishav also Dibra Chaim, that when halacha says, when Chazal say the language of chayiv, chayiv means that it's a chiyuv ad mesiras nefesh. You have to go on mesiras nefesh, you have to go self-sacrifice to do this mitzvah the Chazal gave, because it's chayiv adam. Yeah, that's exactly like the Sipur Rav Zera. He was chayiv. That correct. And kiyudua that it says about the gra. The Gemara we mentioned yesterday, there's a Gemara, it's actually not a Yeshalmi, it's a Bavli. The Gemara says that he used to get sick drinking from the Dal Koisius, and he was sick until Atzeres. And it says by the Grod, actually, he would get Ad Makim Sakana, he would drink on Purim until the place of Sakana. So this is a Chayav Adam. What's L'Psumei? What does L'Psumei mean? So L'Psumei Pasha is according to Rashi, this way the Rashi, it's not Pasha, but Rashi writes, L'Psumei means L'Shtaker B'Yayin. So the mitzvah is, we'll talk about the yayin part of it in a second, but the mitzvah is shikrus. The mitzvah is actually a person has to reach a place of shikrus. And that's also the same way the Rambam lahalacha paskins in Megillah Perek Beis Tezvav, v'shoysa yayin achi shtaker v'yirdam b'shikrus. So everyone knows the Ramah. The Ramah quotes the Rambam that the idea is that you can fall asleep, and that's a Yotzim Mitzvah on the other. But the idea is not the time to fall asleep, not the time to take a nap on Purim, but v'yishtaker at shiyirdam. You get so shikir that you can't hold your head up any longer, and you fall asleep, and then you're Yotzim Mitzvah. The Korban Asana on the Rosh, which we saw in IYYUN, brings down that without the Pirush Rashi, he would say there's no mitzvah taka leishlaker. It says l'psumei. Psumei means you should be a little flushed. You should get a little flushed a little bit. That's actually the Aruch HaShulchan, Tafresh Tzaddik Kesem Hey, rules the same way. And the Shalach Kodesh says, Mevusam nik mishe'ena mishashikar kol kach. Mevusam means actually someone that's not shikar. Chayav l'psumei means someone that's actually tipsy, not mamish shikars. But why taka, according to Rashi and according to the Rambam, according to the way the halacha of Paskins, the Torah Mechaber, Paskins Chayav l'shtaker, why taka shikars? Why do we have to get shikar on Purim? What's the idea? What's the shikars coming on Purim? So there's a tshuva from the Ram Rottenberg, a child from Ram Rottenberg, Simuresh from Daud. Lefikach mishtakrim shekol anes ba yidei shikras shenenu v'ashti v'hamana de mishta, that the whole story of Purim came through Dafka, through shikras. Achashverosh was shikr, and therefore in his shikras, and that's why it says the next morning he didn't remember, he was shikr, and he killed Vashti, and that because of Vashti, then Esther, and the whole story came because of shikras. So because the foundation of the story came because of shikras, therefore you have to be mishtaker. And the Mata Moshe brings the same thing, Amen Avoida, Shakol Nisim Achashverosh Aydei Mishta, and Aydei shikras. Now we have to understand, this is the shikras element. So it's a zeichel and nes, sort of like just that the nes happened for shikr, so we also have to become shikr, the zeichel and nes. There has to be some deeper oimek, some deeper understanding of what is specifically, okay, so there's a detail in the miracle that happened through shikrs, so therefore you have to get shikr. there must be that there's some element of Purim that connects directly to idea of being in a more shikr state. That Purim itself has something to do with shikrs. Then Kiyudu, there's a machlokes, poskim, when it says that you have to be mishtaker. Yeah, could you be mishtaker with all mashkois? Is the ikar of the idea is to be shikr, so then you can do any mashkois, anything that causes intoxication and causes you to become shikr, are you yaitza? Or does it have to be dafke with yayin? So we have Rashi. Rashi says clear, lishtaka b'yayin. Lishtaka b'yayin means two things. First of all, it has to be shikr. Like we say, some of the Rishonim say, who said you have to be shikr? Maybe l'psume, lishtaka. And also dafke b'yayin. And we yesterday read from the Yayin Ashas, from Yosef Engel, that he's taka tzarachim. Where does Rashi get it from? This idea of shikrs.
But if the purpose of drinking is for the zecher and that, why do we have to be shikr? So not to drink a little wine, is that?
No, see, that's the lashon of that's the lashon. That's what I said. After the lashon of that it became shikr. So that's the lashon of the Ram Rottenberg. That he became. It's not a mishta that he can just drink wine. It was dafke the shikrus. The nest came out this shikrus. Achshav is shikr. By Vashti, yeah. Not by us. So since he became shikr, correct. Since he became shikr, therefore we have to become shikr. The Nabucco Erechaim, the Munketcher writes in Tofir Sadikeh that lav dafke b'yayin. If the idea is shikr, then he can do it with any mashkois. And the mitzvah is the dafke to get to Adar, and that seems the same opinion of the Kaf HaChaim. So he says, Avodah, Tavish Beches, and Kaf HaChaim. The idea is there.
Use other substances.
Yeah, that's what he writes. He writes in Chadchila. He says that's right. But he has a whole thing in his commentary on the Shulchan Aruch, and he writes at the end that any mashkois, the idea of taka is a shikr. So
what's about not mashkois like stomach?
That doesn't make you Adar Yoda. You have to be shikr. The shayla is the shikr. There's not a shayla. That's already a whole. It says shikrs, right? You have to be shikr. The question is if the shikr is the ikr or the yayin is the ikr. But stam to be out of your head doesn't not shikr. That's stam meshuga. No mitzvah to be put meshuga. Kombination mashkois. That's what he passes. Kombination mashkois.
It has to be a liquid.
It has to be liquid. Now, but Rashi writes Mishta Yayin, and we'll see that some of the Rishonim actually say there's a reason for that. Davudram writes in his Pirush, Davudram has a Pirush on the Siddur, and on Hilchos Purim he writes that you have to Mishtaka Taka B'Yayin, because the Suda of Esther and the Suda of the Mishta Achashverosh, which Ashti Kadas it was actually through Yayin. So it's not that they only became shikr, but actually they became shikr with yayin. We know that they were serving wine. So he says, dafka, you have to have wine. And this is, so it's dafka specifically, the type of shikrs happened through wine, because we know that it was drinking wine. We know that it was drinking wine, so therefore it has to be dafka through wine. Remember, we learned with Hanukkah, we learned there was a Dafka Moshe that brings down Meshem Rabbeinu Peretz, that why should you light Dafka, remember with oil, why should you light Dafka oil with Shem and Zayis? Theoretically, other oils are just as good, but just because the miracle happened with Shem and Zayis, you should light Dafka this way. Okay, this is the time. This is what Avudah brings, this is what Pasha is why Rashi says, Lishtake Dafka B'yayin. The Rekeach, Sefer Rekeach, for Elazar Germaiser, one of the earlier Rishonim, has a sefer called Sefer Rekeach. It's also it goes through all the Rosh Hashanah, Kippur, goes through all the Yom Tovim, and he writes in Hilchos Purim a remez that he says he should dafka drink biyayin, and his reason is because yayin is gematria soid, which is gematria 70. The Gemara says never, right? So we know that Nichas Hayat Soid is gematria 70. So he says that there's remozim in the Purim story in the Megillah itself. There's a lot of rimzi of 70. He says, L'mashal from Yud Gimel Nisan, which is the first time the Geras Haman came out, till Chav of Sivon is 70 days. And from the passage where it says, V'islu Shneim ala Eitz, till it says, V'islu Haman ala Eitz, 70 psukim. And if Kiyadua, if you know a little bit of the Sefer Rekeach and the Chatzidi Ashkenaz, they're very oisik in this sugi of trying to find how many letters, how many oisias, and
but not about shows, it's from the Rekeach, right?
Yeah, Lam shows the Rekeach on Hanukkah. Yeah, it's interesting that Avudram Navudram was Spanish, and he lived a few hundred years after the Chassidic Ashkenaz. The Chassidic Ashkenaz were the first people that were soifrim. They were actually soifer the Oisius. In Shemona Esrei, for example, they say the first bracha Shemona Esrei has 42 words, and that's Shem Mab, and they go through every single thing. They count the Oisius. Navudram writes that he actually also lachatchila, when he wrote his Pirush on the Siddur, he also used this mahalach like the Chassidic Ashkenaz, but that Besoif he said he stopped. He didn't do it anymore. And it's interesting, the Alter Rebbe in the Siddur, in the what's the sefer? No, the Shiur Kolel in the back, he explains sometimes Alter Rebbe's Neschois. Why the Alter Rebbe takes stiff Neschois, like Sur Yisrael, the Alter Rebbe took out. So he says it has to do with Oisius, how many Oisius there were. And Alter Rebbe actually writes sometimes that he's not makpid on how many Oisius there are, like the Avudram, not like the Chassidic Ashkenaz, but it seems like Lepoil, even though he's not makbid, there's Makom, there's a Maimer Katzos Alter Rebbe actually explains in certain tefillas how many Oisius there are, so we see there is a Akpada on how many words there are. This is the shitta of these Rishonim. So the Keach says the 70, so therefore we drink Dafka Yayin. He says a few Ramazim. These are the two Ramazim that he says. He says, Kam pam. Vayislu Shnei Malaitz till Vayislu Hamalaitz is 70 psukim. So this is the way we think, like Rashi will learn, that it's Dafke Lishtake B'Yayin. And that's the way the Arizal writes. The Arizal writes in Priyatz Chaim, Shar Purim, Perek, that Lipsume is Dafke Mitzvase B'Yayin. The mitzvah is to drink Dafke wine, at least some wine on Purim. So we have to understand, what is the Kesher Pinimi, what is the real connection between Purim and Shikrus B'chlal? According to others, Shar Rishonim, let's say there's a Shikrus, that's the idea. What's the connection with Purim and Shikrus? Why Purim and Shikrus? And specifically, why Dafka Yayin? Okay, so it happened with Yayin, there's a Ramazim with Yayin. They must say that the whole mahalach of Yayin, the whole concept of Yayin, what Yayin is, what it represents, what it does, has to be intricately connected to Purim. So we'll start. The Gemara in Avodah Zarah says like this. The Gemara, there's a sugi in Avodah Zarah, where the big sugi, the Gemara talks about different types of things that are that Chazal asered because of Gzeirus Chasnos. Like, because of the Gzeira of that people are going to intermarry, and there's Chasnos and Kirva, so Chazal were Oyser, Chol Vakum, and Pasakum, and Bishalakum. These are things that are part of the Gzeirus Chazal that are Oyser because of Chasnos. Or maybe they're going to mix something in, but the Iker Gzeir was on Chasnos. What is the Isser L'mashal, for example, in Bishalakum or Pasakum or Chalavakum? The Isser is only Isser Achila. It's not Isser Anah. You're allowed to have Anah from Bishalakum. You're allowed to sell it. You're allowed to use it. You have to do what you want. You just, the Chacham say, because Chasnas is Kirva, so Kirva, you shouldn't do it. So therefore you're not allowed to eat it. But there's no Gzeira. Chacham didn't make a Gzeira of Isser Anah. However, with Yayin, so there's two elements of Yayin. There's Yayin Nesach. Yayin Nesach is Asman HaTorah. Asman HaTorah, Mitarkrev is all the way to Zorah, and that's Asman HaTorah also Bahana. Right? You're not allowed to have the You're not allowed to have any Anah from Avodah Zarah, not even in the Tzura of Shabbat in the Achila, but even in the Etzem, the Choymer Shabbat you're not allowed to have anything, any Anah from Avodah Zarah. That's Yayin Nesach. That's Mamish, someone, Avodah Akum, poured Avodah Yayin. How about Yayin, we call Yayin Stam Yainam, which means it belongs to an Akum. What's together of Stam Yainam? So Chazal, or Aser, not only Isser Achila, but also Isser Hana, which is a Chiddush. Why should I ask Isser Hana if the idea is Gzeirus Chasnos? So just like Bishul Akim is only a Chachila, and Pas Akim is only a Chila, and Chol Akim is only a Chila, why was Taka the Gzeir also on Hana? So the Rishonim write, and first of all, who made this Gzeir? So it's interesting that the Gemara says that Yainam mishum bitom mishum davar acher. That we aser Yainam mishum bitom mishum chasas, and chasas davar acher is avodah zarah. Correct. Now, who was masaket this takana of not eating yain stam Yainam? So Pasha the Gemara is Chazal were aser. But there's a Pirkei de Belezer. The Pirkei de Belezer which if you know, Pirkei Eliezer is a medrash that goes through the story of the Torah. And when it comes to Parshas Pinchas, Pirkei Eliezer writes that the person that was misaken, that Stam Yayin was also, is Pinchas. And the story of Moav, which we know there was Bnois Moav and Bnois Midian. So there was Taka, there was Nus, and there was Avodah Zarah. They're two separate things, right? The Bnois Moav was Nus. The Bnois Midian was Avodah Zarah. So it says that Pinchas was Misaken Stam Yainam Mishum Bitum Mishum Davar Acher. And B'chatchila, that was part of the Gzeir. So in other words, the reason why Stam Yainam is also an Isser Hana, that also has a provision against actually having Hana, is connected to the idea of Avodah Zarah. Since an Avodah Zarah is Asr B'Hana, so therefore also Stam Yain is Asr B'Hana. And the truth is, if you look in Lashon Rambam, the Rambam writes, in Ilchos Machalas Asuras, Perik Yud Aleph Gimel, Yayin akum she'ein oni yoidim im nisnachas oilo nisnachas levunik Stam Yainam Asr B'Hana kimo Yayin shemisnachas. The Rambam writes that it's Asr B'Hana just like Yayin Esach. So the Rambam is saying that the Gzeirach Chachamim of Stam Yainam, which a Yainam that belongs to a non-Jew, is because Stam Yainam actually, it looks like, or could be, Yayin Nesach. So just like Yayin Nesach is also Bahana, so Chazal actually, second is also Bahana. This actually comes out lahalacha in the Ramah. In the Ramah, the din of the Ramah is the question is Akum Zman Hazeh. Already the Gemara says today already Akum Zman Hazeh is they're not over the Zar and the minig of the same be there. They're just practicing. They don't know what they're doing, but they're practicing the old practice. So the Ramah rules that today, if an Akum, if Goy is Akum Shemaga Akum B'Yayin Shalonu Ein Aser Bana Ela B'Achila. You're not allowed to drink it. So there are more rules that only b'shtia, only b'shtia. So all the Mefarshim Ramah ask, all the Pasuk ask, why did Ramah say only achil not shtia? That's not the Gzeirus Chazal. Gzeirus Chazal is that Stam Yayin or Magas Akum is actually makes the thing aser. It's like Stam Yayin. So Stam Yayin is aser b'Hana and b'Achila. So why is it only aser b'Achila Ramah? So the Tas says Pashut, because the Ramah says there's actually two takanas here. One is Gzeirus Chasnas, and one is Gzeirus Chasnas from Davar Acher. One is B'Stad Avodah Zarah Shebadavar, and one is B'Stad Chasnas, Kirva Shebadavar. The relationship between Yisrael and Umas Olam. So he says today that there is no Avodah Chachamim, it's only meaning of saying B'Yadayim, so you don't have the Gzeir of the Hana. So only have back to the Gzeir of Achila. So it's Stam Yainam is just the same gather of at least Magas Akum, have the same gather of Chalav Akum, Bishul Akum, Pas Akum. Right? That's the smart. So here we have something that we see that Yayin has a special quality, but the quality we thought was special because of Hana seems to be only because it's connected to Avodah Chachamim Mazolas. The issue is that we also find that the Shalach Kodesh brings down. The Shalach Kodesh Mishar Oisius Kuf Kedushas Achila brings down from Menachem Abavli, which is a practice of Yesh Machbirim Shegam Riyas Akum B'Stam Yainam is Asur. Aidei machshavtim k'shtam machshavtim l'avodah zarah. That there's seeing if an akum sees wine, the Shalach Kodesh. This is a machmir. I mean, you see over there the different tshuvas. There's a famous shin of the Rav that says that if the akum sees through a glass, it's not considered because it has a kriya. If it was chuchis, it's not really considered riya. The David Yisham that Shabiner says that chassidim are makbid anyways, even through a glass. And the shaila if the glass is clear, if the glass is tinted, and if the glass has a cover, has a chaysim. Today, no one's makbid on a glass that has a chaysim. No one. Yeah, every person, even if you're not buying not bishul Yisrael, you have a regular wine. You go into a store, you buy wine. There's a guy there that sees the wine. It's not a shaila. But once it's opened, even through the glass, people you put it in a bag, or you don't have this. So there's something about the chumrah. And this is the way Minig Yisrael is. It's not halacha, but this is the Minig Yisrael that even riyas akum. So the shaila is why taka? What's taka? It's taka. It's the Shalom writes we should machmer. And stam machshavti l'avodas kachavim. So stam machshavti. So what? But he saw it. What do you do? Yeah. So what happens? So what? It's very mystical. So what actually happens? And why? The shaila is what's dafke yayin? How come if let's say there's an iser bishul akum? So how about if the akum looks at your food? You don't say it. The akum looks at the psir chalav. You don't say it. But why dafke with yayin? What's the quality of yayin that somehow the Riyas Akum has an effect on the Yayin. There has to be some quality of Yayin that because of that, it's more susceptible to Riyah. There's some type of giving out of the person projecting onto that object that's very connected to the concept of wine.
I think that it makes it the Chazer's near the Chalav Yisrael.
Sheni Soreo.
Yeah.
That's different. That's a different word. That's Yisrael didn't see it.
Yeah.
But Akum sees it is different. That's Chol Sheni Soreo is and you can't drink it. It's a mice with actually with the Chernobyler. They didn't see the coffee, the milk. But that's not shot because the Akum saw it. It's Chol Sheni. Correct. It's a different thing. That's a different thing. It has to be Chol Yisrael. Not don't get it. Akum sees. You know, look at milk. But you ever saw someone's makbet to drink coffee not in front of there's no such thing. There's no chumrah like that. Yeah. No, and what was the eighth? The eighth was the geffen. So what's the Riyah of the geffen? What's the Yeah, so what's Yayin? So first let's understand what Yayin is. What's the word Yayin? Where does the word Yayin come from? What do Chazal say? What does the word Yayin come from? So there's a Gemara in Yuma, Ayvav, and Sanhedrin, Ayin. My Karla Yayin. The Gemara asks Shaila. My Karla Tirish. The Gemara says, why you call it Yayin? Why do we call it Tirish? There's two words for it. First, the Gemara says it's different, maybe different parts of the grape. It says no, it's the same thing. Why is it called Tirish and Yayin? Yayin should maybe Yilala Loilam. Yayin comes from the word Yilala. It's the Lamentations, the sorrow. And like the Rashi brings down to Einavi, it's like the word Vei, yay. Oivei, Rashi writes in Sanhedrin. That's like the Yayin calls it yay, Vei, something like a sadness. And Tirish is because if you're Zacha, if you drink it correctly, it's Nasa Rosh. You can fly high, you can go to the head. And if not, Nasa Rosh. You become poor and it goes down. So there's some quality of confounding of chaos or confusion that wine can either bring a person to a very high place or to a very low place. Now, what is wine? How does wine create and how is wine created? So wine, what happens is, when does wine become wine? So the wine, really is the juice in a grape. That's what wine is. The juice in a grape, in a longer period of process of fermentation, actually becomes alcohol, so it becomes actually real wine. But the juice itself actually exists already in the grape before. When does it become wine? It becomes wine. The Rehuna says, that's the Gemara by the Zorn. It says that the moment it starts the hamshacha, it's called hamshacha. The moment there's a hamshacha of the wine out of the grape, that's already when it has a din of yayin. Like we learned yesterday, the Gemara Bavasa says, a person can be soichet eshkol, v'ayron l'kiddush yayin. Right? That's not the science. Point is chita. Once you pull it out, even yayin megitto, you just got a bunch of grapes together, they're sitting together, and there's leaked a little juice out of the grapes. Technically, halacha, that's already considered a metzias of wine.
What about yayin and shumar?
Wait a second, we're going to talk about that. That's exactly what we're going to talk about.
Because it's not squeezed.
That's not squeezed, so listen together. Now, the Gemara, this is what we have from these Gemaras. So the metzias of yayin is the minute it comes out of the grape, it already has a metzias of yayin. What does the Gemara say? The Gemara says in brachas, when the Gemara is talking about the bracha, why you make dafka on kfanim, why you make a special bracha boy per dafka, right? You don't say boy per eitz on the wine. So the Gemara says, why do you make a bracha? So the Gemara says it's ishtani l'luya, that it's changed its quality for the better. It became a better quality than exists within the grape, and somehow it comes a better quality. What's the better quality? The Gemara says it's zayin, it nourishes, it's said, it satisfies. If you drink a little bit, drink a lot. Drink a little bit is satisfying, but if you drink a little bit, it actually gives you. You drink a lot, it creates more desire for food. Like the Gemara says about Rabbi, that used to drink on our Pesach. He drank a lot of wine. Adar says not mamash a lot, but technically more than normal, and a little bit satisfied. And it's also misamachas. It brings joy. That's the Gemara's conclusion. The difference between shemen and yayin would be that yayin has all these qualities. It nourishes and it nurtures and it satisfies, and it also brings joy. Different has a separate thing. So there is a shinui limal yusa, which means there's a change in the quality, the way it exists within it, with the way the wine exists within the grape, and then the way it exists outside the grape.
Limal yusa is that it's advantageous.
Yes, correct. Limal yusa means it's advantageous. It means that it has a special positive quality. Now, if you look in the Zohars that we learned, In the Zohar, the Zohar says there's actually two colors of wine, right? It says that there's a white wine, it's chavira, and the sumka. There's two types of wine. There's wine that comes from chesed, which is the white kind of wine, and there's wine that comes from gvura, which is the red one. Now the truth is, this is what the Zohar says. Wine is always white originally. There's such thing as red wine. Red wine, how does red wine become red wine? Because the peels. Peels. In other words, you can have a white wine that comes from a red grape and a red wine that comes from a white grape. It doesn't have to do with the color of the grape. It has to do if you sit and you ferment it with the shells, the peels of the grape for a longer period of time, so it absorbs that coloring and it becomes red. And if you don't, it becomes white. But the way the wine exists within the grape is certainly white. And the way it comes out of the grape after a period of time, and it soaks in the peels, it becomes red. So, if we say the chesed the gvura, and chesed is the wine, the way it exists is white, and gvura is the way the wine exists is red, so also the chiluk would be, the basic distinction would be, whether the wine exists within the grape, or exists outside the grape, in a longer process where it becomes fully din and fully red. It starts off as chesed. Every wine starts off as chesed when it's existing within the grape. And that's what the Rekanti writes. The Rekanti, in Parshas Bereshis, Peir Tes Chof writes, Sheyayin HaMeshumer, Hi Mitzad HaChesed. The Yayin HaMeshumer, what's the Yayin HaMeshumer? The Yayin HaMeshumer is the wine the way it exists in the grape. It's Meshumer in the grape. The way the Yayin is Meshumer within the grape is chesed. And when the wine is pulled out of its place of protection within the grape, and it becomes this amshacha of the wine, and then the later process again it becomes with the peels, then it becomes din, gevura. And that's why the Rekanti also explains in Bereshis Gimel, okay, that the chet of Chetzadas, the chaved, the lashon of the Rekanti is shefride hayayin hameshumim ba'anavav. The chet was that she created a pirud from the wine, the way the wine exists within the grape, and she pulled the wine out of the grape, sachat. This is the lashon of the Medrash, lashon also in Sanhedrin Navain, that she was sachat kvar, that she squeezed the grape to give him wine, and that's drawing out the wine from the grape. So the wine the way it exists in the grape is chesed. The wine the way it exists outside the grape is already more in the tenua of gvur, and certainly when it becomes red wine.
Yeah. One said, I think maybe in Bereshis Shmos, that the wine is Besitra, I think it's a Shmos, the wine is Besitra the Gvura.
Yeah, we're going to get to it. We'll talk about what the depends on wine. Correct. So which wine is Besitra the Gvura? Then there's Shalach Kaddish you also saw. The Shalach Kaddish writes, in Parshas Yisrael Mekates, Sheyayin HaMeshumer is Bekeser Atik Yayin. That the real source of Yayin HaMeshumer is actually in Keser of Atik Yayin, the less small Bahaya Tikka. There's no Gvuras in that place, which means the highest level is pure Chasadim, the way it exists within there. And this, when it comes out, the yayin is already more makusher to red, to dam. That's what we learned from Rabbi Bechaya in Parshas Vayir Yutes Lamed Beis. Rabbi Bechaya is medama yayin dam nida. And he says it became chava. So when it goes out and it's projected outside the body, outside the oven, it actually becomes something that's gvuras, something that's din. And yes, correct. That's correct. It's correct. Dam nakev and asacholav. Yeah. Okay. Now another chiluk dak is the way if you eat a grape, and we're saying that the grape has yayin meshumer. Conceptually, it has the idea of yayin meshumer. You eat a grape. When you eat a grape, technically you're eating food. If you squeeze the grape and you're drinking the liquid, you're taking drink. That's the difference between achila and shia. So when you eat the grape, there's achila. When you drink the grape juice or the juice of the grape, it's already shia. B'chlal, the difference between achila and shia is achila. There's a shtickle in Torah's Rabbi Yitzchak in Yedushim B'Shas, and the Rebbe's father, that he says the b'chal. The whole difference between achila and shia, it's moving from the Zohar, it's also moving from the Alter Rebbe and Torah or Pashas Shabatim. That achila, the idea of achila, to eat is chasadim. To drink, what are you doing when you're drinking? Simply, when you eat, that's the nourishment of the body. And the drinking is not the actual nourishment. The drinking I can't explain you biologically if this is, but this is conceptually, this is the way that the drink is mafire the food, breaks apart all the food, and allows all the food to get into all the channels of the body. So the drink the liquid actually breaks apart is mafire this idea. It breaks it apart and allows that it should enter all the parts of the body. So the achila shabadavar is chesed, nurturing, nourishment, and the breaking apart is already gevura.
That's because the liquid dissolves them.
Correct. So it allows it to go through the body.
There's enzymes in liquid that will help
break food apart. Okay, perfect.
And salivating. Like
Perfect.
If you put bread in water, you'll see that the bread will start separating and come across all the parts of the water. The little chunk of bread will separate.
Correct. This is why it says by Avram Avinu we find that when the Malachim came to Avram Avinu, this is a Levitic right. So when Avram Avinu came to Malachim, it says Chu pas lechem. He gives them bread. How come it doesn't say v'yishtu? It doesn't tell him to drink. It doesn't tell him. There's no word mishteh. It doesn't tell him to drink. He says why? Because Avram is Isha Chesed. And Chesed gives bread. Chesed gives bread. Where do you find the idea of Mishnah by the Avis? The only place we find Mishnah by the Avis is Vayas Avram Mishnah B'yom Gamel Isai. When Yitzchak became 3 years old, then it says, Bar Mitzvah, it says that's Gvura. When Yitzchak became, then he gave Mishnah, then he gave Gvuras, then he gave Shia. But Avram is always Chesed, and you don't find. Huh? That's who's Hoitzi Lechem Yayin? Yeah, I'm saying about Avram. Now Avram is always serving food, and when he serves drink, Shia is dafka when it comes to Gvuras, because Chesed is connected to Achila, and Shia is connected to Gvuras. Now again, getting back to Yayin. Yayin, the way the wine exists within the grape, it's Achila, it's a food, and the wine, the way it exists outside the grape, is Shia. So the wine, the way it exists within the grape, is Chesed, is Achila. Is Chesed, is Avram. The wine that exists outside the grape, that's already becomes Gvuras. That's why it's connected to Din. This is why it says Vashi is asking Einoinus. So what's Pshat Shia Kedas Einoinus? The Gemara Megillah says, and Daf Yudal, the Gemara says that what does it mean Kedas Einoinus? It means Kedas Torah. What's Das Torah? Das Torah is Achila Meruba Mishsia. That you want to have more Chsadim Meruba than Shia. And so Dafka Avodas Kochav is Dafka the opposite. Shia is more Gvuras, so they have more Shia, more than Shia. You actually see this even today. Jews eat and Akum drink. This is a very common colloquial joke about. But this is the way it is. That the Achila is connected to Dafka to Chsadim, and Shia is connected to. Okay. Now let's get back to this idea. So why Yayin? No, I said it's Rebbe writes in Torah. He brings down from the Alter and Torah Pashim Smatim. Achila Ikar Mazon Ikar Chayis L'Adam, and the Shia is already to mafire that Achila throughout the body, to distribute that drink, that nourishment that you got from the body throughout the entire body. So we have Yayin Bechal, or any alcohol, any type of mashkoyas. Let's go back to the idea. It has shikras. We have shikras. Then there's an idea also of the Gemara in Sanhedrin says, Kofi Gimel and Aleph. The Gemara says, Gedoyle legima, great is gima, and gima is not the dafka shtia, but gima means achila v'shtia, and Rashi it's suda. Gedoyle legima. The Gemara says shem bekareves es harachoikim umrachekes es hakroivim. That food, bringing food together, could do two things. It can bring people that are far apart. I mean, are far close, and people that are close can be further apart. The Gemara brings down from Amar Moish, so you see that Gima also is considered with water, with liquid. But it means that that sharing food together, that's obvious, but this is what the Gemara says, sharing food together, if it's done for a person that's rachug, it can actually bring the person in karv, and if it's done with a family, maybe in kravim, that are not getting along, maybe the food can actually cause more strife than unity. But it's possible. It's possible. Gima definitely it can draw people that are further away. Now, let's understand first the two nekudas. One is the idea of shikras, and one is the idea of yayin. So first, let's get to the idea of shikras. One thing about the shikras is, and any type of drink, and this is very big concern, because the whole idea of Purim is what's Purim? on one level, on many levels. Purim is that Purim is Amalek. Amalek is Gematria Suffolk. It's a Makam HaGoyrel. It's a place of the lottery. And Haman wants to reach the place of Makam HaSfekis and create uncertainty to Klal Yisrael, and Chas v'Shalom worse. And V'nahapachu, the idea of the transformation of Purim is that in order for us is not tafke to get to a place of Vadai, because Vadai would be not V'nahapachu of Suffolk, if Amalek is Gematria Suffolk. And Suffolk is a place of doubt, and doubt is a place of uncertainty. So you would think that what would be the name of Purim? The name of Purim would not be Goyrel, right? Goyrel, the name of Purim is called Al Shem HaPur. Pur means actually something that's a suffix. When you throw a lottery, it means I don't know how this is going to work. I'm just throwing a lottery, and whatever works, whatever is going to fall out. That's what I'm doing. So what do you call the Nes Purim? You call Al Shem HaGoyrel. It's like calling Pesach Mitzrayim. You're calling Pesach Para. You're calling Purim Al Shem HaPur, which is because it doesn't make any sense. And that's what. Not only that, it says Hipul Pur L'fnei Haman. It says the Hipul Pur L'fnei Haman. So Chazal say, what's right? Hipul Pur L'fnei Haman doesn't even say that Haman did it. It happened. Not only did he rely on the lottery, which is not his own volition, not his own decision, and he said, "I'm not going to decide what day should fall out. Let the lottery decide." But he didn't even throw the lottery. The Maral says there was like a lottery guy. There was like a person that was mamun on the lottery that threw the lottery. And the Zohar says, no, Purim Tzayagor means that the Eibusha threw the lottery. It's like there's something happening beyond him. So he's giving up total free choice. That's totally a Makam HaSafek. So what do we celebrate Purim? If you celebrate V'nahapachu, that it's transformed, you can't say V'nahapachu is Makam HaVadoi, because Vadai is not the opposite of, is not V'nahapachu of Safek, it's the opposite of Safek. So it must be that the highest level of Purim is Taka Makam HaSafek, the holy Makam HaSafek. That's Rishon D'Leis Yada and Adar and the whole Arichas of what this idea means. And that's why the Nar that surrounds Shushan Abir was called Ulai, not Vadai, because the whole idea is Taka Makam Ulai. And Purim is Gematria Shaila. That Purim is not the Teretz, Purim is the Shaila, the open Sveikas, the highest level of Sveikas that allows you for Adar Yoda, which is just the Inu Shikras. I said this very quickly, but this is Bekitzer, because it's not going to get to Yayin. This is going to get to Shikras. The Klaus. Another Inyan, the Gemara says that that why Chas V'Shalom Klal Yisrael, what was the reason that Klal Yisrael deserved Chas V'Shalom, the story of Purim? So the first thing Gemara says, then the Gemara says it can't be because that only Shushan Kolel yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the Shalach Kodesh writes that when we say G'dol L'Gima She Mekareves Arachoikim U'Merchekes Arachoikim, so the fact is that the whole problem of the whole Suda Nadim Shus was it was Mekareves Arachoikim. They were Mishtatef B'Sudas Yisrael Rasha. They were Mishtatef in the Suda. So we have to create a tikkun for that. Because it was merachakes kroivim. What it did was mefuzah mefurim ben amim. It causes a period by Klal Yisrael because it had a kirva to Achashverosh and to Haman, and therefore we have to do a tikkun. So the Shalach Kodesh writes already that Esther started doing the tikkun when she made the Mishnah, but he says that we have to do the tikkun as well, and we do the tikkun the same thing. So we create positive instead of creating kirva, which is a problem of chasnus. With Umas Olam, so that's the Mishnah that we Russia. So we create a Mishnah which is also through Yayin, and we do the Mishnah through Yayin to dafka bring mishpacha. We dafka do to be makarev, to draw closer, and that's the reason why we do it on Davish Mishnake, because it brings legima, it's makarevis. But that's not going to answer the question of Yayin. Why dafka, according to the shittas of Rashi and Avudram and the Rekeach and others, why dafka we have to drink wine? Now we just said that the entire idea of wine is wine exists within the grape as chsadim, as achila, as one, and that's the way it's Yayin HaMeshumer, it's still protected within the grape, and that's as white. And then when the wine is ejected, pushed out, squeezed out of the grape, then that's the place of Gvura. But the Gemara says that place of Gvura was actually Mishtana L'Elua. It's actually a positive development. There's gvura, there's din, there's nida, there's dam. But on the other hand, that's actually a positive development. And this is the oimik of Purim. What's Purim? So we all know that what happened in the story of Purim? The story of Purim is not just a story that happened to Klal Yisrael. They were going to kill us and then we survived and let's drink, because that unfortunately is the story of our history, and there's this Purim, the small Purims throughout. Used to be in many communities around the world. They used to celebrate small Purims because of all these type of stories. We must say Purim is a meta story. It's a huge story. What's the story of Purim? Purim is actually a switch or a paradigm shift between Torah Shebiksav and Torah Shebal-Peh. In other words, from the beginning of Matan Torah until the story of Purim, until the end of the story of Purim, till the beginning of the Bayis Yishin, which according to the Ramban already is Man Purim, most Roiv Klal Yisrael already living in Eretz Yisrael, which means that already the process of entering into Eretz Yisrael was after the 70 years. So the story is that up until that point there was Nevi'im, there was Urim v'Tumim, there was a Beis Hamikdash, Bayis Yishin had the Aron, had the Urim v'Tumim. So what happens when a person wants to know what's the din? What do I do? So you go to the Navi, and the Navi tells you, this is what you do. Should we go to war? The Navi says, yeah, go to war. You should not go to war. Don't go to war. What's the halacha? You ask the Navi, you ask the Prophet. The Prophet goes into a mystical transition and reveals the Torah. So how does Hashem talk to us? Hashem talks to us. We're the receivers. The Hashem is the mashpia, and we're the makabel. And the makabel is makabel the ashpah from the shefa. Then comes a new development in the Hizgalus HaTorah. The new revealing of the Galus HaTorah. The Torah now takes on a new dimension. What's the new Galus HaTorah? The new Galus HaTorah, which happened that Esther, on one hand, is Ayel Sashachar, Soif Kol Anisim. It's actually the end. On the other hand, it's the end of the process of Torah Shebiksav. But who created Megillas Esther? Who asked that Kavuni L'Doris? It's Esther. And who do you call the Megillah? And you call Megillas Esther. This is a Chiddush Nifla. Wait a second. So wait a second. In other words, the kaviyas of the Torah. In other words, she came to Chachmei Yisrael and said, Kavuni L'Doris, Kasvuni L'Doris. And they said, no, we can't do it. We wrote it already. It's 3 times. It's Shalashtem. It's already Torah. You can't repeat the Amalek again. And they said it's going to cause hate Umas Olam. So they were arguing whether this text should be considered part of Torah. She convinced them, and when she convinced them, this is Torah Shebiksav because it's part of Tanakh. It's part of Kisvei HaKodesh. But it was through the argument of Esther. So not only was it the Makabel, but it was Makabel Taka the Esther Kakar Olam, the idea of the Metzias of real the Makabel, of Esther. And that's why on Purim, what? Ima, yeah, exactly. So it's Dafka the Makabel. And that's why the whole story of Purim is the Chag Yisrael is connected to Moshe Rabbeinu, connected to Yetzias Mitzrayim. Purim is Dafka connected to Esther and Dafka connected to Yeshua. Because the Gemara says that the Kfarim and Makifim, that anyone that was Makif on the time of Yeshua, it should be. Why? Because the Yerushalmi says because to give covet for Yeshua. But still, what's the oimik? Why Taki Yeshua? Because there's a difference between Moshe Rabbeinu and Yeshua. Moshe is Chama, Yeshua is Levana. Lefi Erech, Yeshua is the Makabel. Right? Moshe is the Mashpia and Yeshua is the Makabel. Yeshua is the Talmud. That's a Torah Tziva. Moshe Gibel Torah Messinai, Masur Yeshua, Yeshua is Kein Levim L'Anshek Knesset Agdol, V'Heim Masur L'Anshek Knesset Agdol. So there's 2 Masruas, there's 2 Messiahs HaTorah, there's 2 transitions of Torah. There's Moshe Gibel Torah Messinai, Masur Yeshua. Moshe gives us Makabel Torah, and Masur Yeshua gives it to Yeshua. Yeshua is Kein Levim Masur L'Anshek Knesset Agdol. What's the new Masrua? What's the new transition? The new Messiahs HaTorah? Because now the Messiahs HaTorah starts from Torah Shebiksav to Torah Shebal-Peh. When is this man of Anshe Knesset Agdola? Bisman Mordechai, right? That Rata Leroy V'Echav, Chazal say Leroy V'Echav, not Kol Echav, because he was some of the Anshe Knesset Agdola represented Moshe Rabbeinu at Mordechai. So the Tnu of Mordechai and the Tnu of Esther is the beginning of Torah Shebal-Peh. What's the Chilim Torah Shebiksav and Torah Shebal-Peh? Torah Shebiksav is the way the Eibishter reveals Torah to us. Torah Sheba'al Peh is the way the Eibusher reveals Torah through us. And that's a chilek between the mashpia and the makabel, between Torah Sheba'al and Torah Sheba'al Peh. So the Yerushalmi, the Tanchuma person says that's Taket Torah Sheba'al Peh. That's Talmud Bavli. So the Gemara says V'chakim Levani is Talmud Bavli, because Bavel, Bilbul, that the Or is an Or Chayzer. It's a reflective light. It comes through the makabel, through the building up. Now, there's another structure thing over here. So it says like this. That Kimmel Yehudim, why? Because Mishas Matan Torah, when it was Kafalim Hakigigas, no Makabel Torah, it was through duress. Says the Maral, what's tried duress? The Eibusher it was Matan Torah. Why was it? It wasn't duress because they didn't want it. They wanted it so much they didn't have free choice any longer. It's Parach Nishmasim. They didn't have Bechir anymore because they were so overwhelmed with Hashem's presence, the Torah Shebiksav, that they said, whatever you desire, that's it. Of course, there's no Shaila to us. There's no Makabel. It's only about the Mashpia. We don't have Kabbalah. Kimu v'kimu ayudim. Where is the Kabbalah Satorah? Kabbalah Satorah Ma'ava, from the place of Dafka, the Makabel. When there's not a revealing, when there's a Hester, and Klal Yisrael stands on the two of Mesiris Nefesh, and they accept the Torah, that's when there's a revealing of the Makabel Torah is receiving it. The way that Arizal explains this is with a shtickle arichis, but the Kitzur, what Arizal explains like this, that there's a way that's called Acher b'Acher, and there's something that's called Panim b'Panim, and this goes back to the story of Bereshis. That Acher b'Acher is Adam Chava. From the beginning of their creation, they created Acher b'Acher. What is Acher b'Acher? Is Daipatzur for Nivraham. That Rosh Zanav, they're created back to back. When they created back to back, the Chibur, the Yichud is Tmidius. They're always connected. And Acher b'Acher, the relationship is always Tmidius, but they never have a face-to-face encounter. So the Arizal says that this what actually happens to Klal Yisrael in the first period of their history, till the end of Bayis Yishin, till the middle of in that period, till Purim story, is that the relationship that we have with HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the relationship is Acher b'Acher. What's about Acher b'Acher? We're in Zivuk T'midi with Eibusher. We're in constant unity with Eibusher. But we don't have an opinion. We're not standing and having an encounter as an other with Hashem. The Eibusher says, do this, we do that. Jump here, go a couple of Hakigiyas, and we do exactly what the Eibusher's Ratzon is. Because there's no Bechira, and there is no Bechira because we're attached. And it's a Zivuk T'midi. What happens? So the Lashon of the Arizal is that Haman was a big astrolog gadol. He was a big astrologist. This is the Lashon Arizal, because he knew that at this period of time, there's a great durmita, there's a great slumber. Just like Adam and Chava. In order for Chava to be created, that it should be Eza Kenegdoi, it should be actually a relationship, right? It says Adam le'motza Eza Kenegdoi, which means it says that Adam is Nikar Shemes l'chol chayes. Adam calls Shemes l'chol chay, and Chazal say that actually he was intimate with all these chayes, but the relationship was Acher b'Acher. There was no real encounter, and then he has to go to sleep. And in the sleep, which is called the Durmita, which is the Nesira is a severing apart between Adam and Chava. So the Shas, the Durmita, that's what it says. Yesh no am echad mefuzim refoyer ben ha'amim, so that L'keim shel Yisrael yashadu. That's the Arizal brings up from Shem HaMelech that that time is already Yasham. Balayla hu nadash nas HaMelech. The Gemara says nadash malchus shalaylam. There was an awakening of this Shina, but up until that point there was actually a Shina. What's happening is Mana Shina the Mitta, and this is what happens at this period of Shina is like the Ramchal and the Arizal writes many times that that's where the Nekuda of Bechira starts. Bechira can only start from the dermita, from the slumber, because in the state before the slumber where it's Acher b'Acher, there's no free choice. You don't have free choice. Kafalim hakigigas. You're Makabel and Medar Labra. We never had choice to Makabel the Torah. When does Makabel the Torah start happening in a more pneumistic level? When there's dermita, when there's kilo, there's hastara v'alakus, and in that hastara there's a binyan. Even a satzala, so the Gemara says that there was binyan saying in the isha, there was a building of the binyan of the isha of the makabel, that the makabel now has bina, has their own understanding, own way of understanding things, and that's when there's the real kabbalah. So when does the full kabbalah satorah happen? The full kabbalah satorah happens dafka after they wake up, after they go through the shina, which is part of Golos, and they wake up and they say, I want to have a relationship with you, Hashem. I actually want to be in a relationship with you and Hashem, and therefore I'm going to create Torah Sheba'al Peh. I mean, I'm going to reveal Torah Sheba'al Peh. I'm going to speak. I'm going to think. I'm going to learn. My whole day is going to be soaked with Torah. Not the Torah that you gave me, Torah Sheba'al Peh, not that, but it's also going to be through my seichel, through my bina, through my understanding, and therefore I want to relate to you. The mila from that, the advantage of that, the malyusa, that it's the shtanel malyusa, is actually that you can have a real encounter. I can stand in front of the Eibush and I can have a real encounter. The chisar from that is that this period. I left the grape. I was the grape. I was part of the chasadim. I was part of the achilim machesed. I was part of one thing, and I was a mitzias achas. So it was yayin meshumar, and it was in a beautiful state, and it was pure chasadim. But there was no passion. There was no desire. There was no gvuras. Why was there no gvuras? Because there was no period. Period creates the idea that I can stand outside of that, and I can stand and have a relationship with that. That creates the possibility of actually having a real relationship, that I stand outside, and that's not why Yayin is dafka with Yayin, because Yayin in the Lashon there Yayin kivis yadam sheteva adam misoyer by harbe, that's Lashon Chinuch in Mitzvah Lavan Aleph, and the Lashon Maral and Gvurus Hashem, and they Yayin yoytzem tich pnimis ha'anav ha'mistatza shaloi. What is Yayin? Yayin comes from the pnimis of the person, the pnimis of the anavim, the inside of it, and it's outward now. But it's the place of the desire, of the passion. You can't have passion in a zivuk tmidi. You can't have a passionate relationship with your parents. You can be very close to your parents. As a child, you can be a 5-year-old child, and you can completely connect it to their hip. You can be acher b'acher. Where they go, you go. There's no place that you go without them. But it's not that you have passion and desire and longing and yearning for your parents. That can only come from a relationship that's panim upon him. It's only a relationship when there's a period. When there's something that created a separation, when there's separation, that can create the longing and the desire. And that's why dafka Yayin. Because the mitzias of Yayin is take gevura. And it's gevura, but Rav Tuas b'koyach shoy, that the gevura is actually the place of the passion and the desire and the yearning, and that's where the place where we can actually really connect in a place upon him. So that's why dafka Yayin on Purim, at least a little bit of Yayin on Purim, b'sham mashkois, you should drink dafka a little bit of Yayin on Purim, because that's the place, the shoyers of taiva and desire and yearning. It's a place where the inner pnimius nefesh adam is projected outwards, and that's the Yeshleim. That's why the Shalach Kodesh writes that stam akum is machshavti lavei dezara. So even beria, because it's a subtle thing. Yayin has a subtle quality that it represents something that comes from the inside that's projected outside, and therefore seeing is another way that we actually project it. We talk many times in Riyah that Riyah is not just an objective thing you're looking from the outside, but every time you're looking at something, you're actually affecting the thing that you're looking at. So therefore, if someone's panemius or soinus and his desire and his yearning is for something negative, and that person looks on this thing, it's possible also to transfer some type of resonance, some type of quality, and you want to take that same desire, that same longing, that same yearning, and drink it. Maybe have a Freilich and Chanukah. Freilich and Purim. Shikism is not the suffering on the Loyada, that's pashtus. Because you want to go to a place of Loyada, you want to go to a place that's Makam HaSafik. Wine always has the quality of Shikers. That's not a shayla wine has a why dafke with Yayin did you mishtake? Because the Yayin has the tchun of Yayin is gvuras that's nifrad mechsadim. And the gvuras and nifrad mechsadim is mishtana l'yusa. If you say it's a good thing or positive thing, a person grows up. You ask a parent, your child grows up, is it good or bad? So that it's double-edged, because when a child is young, they live with you and they're queer, they don't have questions, everything that you say is beautiful, and all of a sudden the child is independent. They have their own seichel. But that's when you can have a real relationship with them. So that's the gvuras. It's ejected from the wine. It's no longer meshumer in the anavim, and it's takik gvuras. It's a little painful. It's a little broken. But in that brokenness, in that separation, it creates the longing, creates the desire, creates the proper relationship that it can be upon him. So you should have a freilich and Purim. Yeah. Go back to Chassadim. So I want to. I couldn't say we can go with this oimek a little bit further, but just very quickly. The vart is that really Purim is not the sof, because Purim is not the end, because Purim is now the Makabel's relationship to Mashpia. So the first part of Jewish history is the Mashbiah's relation to Makabel. The second part of Jewish history is the Makabel relation to Mashbiah. But it's still not perfect because now it's Lord of the Makabel. So where's the Mashbiah? Now the Mashbiah is quiet. The first few thousand years, the Eibush is doing the talking, we're doing the listening. Next 2,000 years, we're doing the talking, Hashem's doing the listening. It's still not a dialogue. The dialogue is we need Hashem to be speaking and us to be speaking very loudly all together. So that's what we go back into the Gvuras go back into the Chsadim in a place that there's still Gvura. In other words, it goes back. The Yayin Meshumah is the Gvuras that go back into the place where it's back into the place of Yichud, but it's still a Davar Nifrad in its own Metzias, where I exist fully and Kaviyachal the Eibush exists fully. Because now in the period of Golus, we're talking Golus. And it's Am HaChoichem B'Choshech. It's not Oil B'Choshech. Why? Because now we're doing the talking. The Eibush is not B'Gili. There's a Gila L'Kos. But we're not doing the talking. So they're both not perfect. That's Bayis Rishon, it's Gila L'Mayla. Bayis Sheni, it's Gila L'Mata. Bayis Shlishi is the Chibur of Gila L'Mayla, Gila L'Mata. That's we have to go back to the Meshumar to get the Yayin. It's Machian, it brings them both together. It holds the paradox, it brings them together. The Adal Yoda will be Yoda. It's not going to be a steer between Adal. Now we need Adal Lo Yoda to reach another area of L'Mayla Medas. But also will be Lo Yoda and Yoda simultaneously. Be Yesh and Ayin.
Is there a preference then on...
I want to say there's like a tshuva from Shlomo Zalman Auerbach that he writes. It's not a tshuva. He writes that the La'asin Lavoi, he said Adal Lo Yoda you always have to reach. He said now you need it through mashkois and you have to get to that place. La'asin Lavoi you're able to reach it as without the mashka.
Well, yeah. Preference for white wine is made for Mashiach as opposed to red.
No, fakert. We're not yet. The Purim is Me'ena L'Maba. We have to drink a little bit red. If you want to drink wine, that's already Mashiach dik. But if you want to drink red, it's the makam of dveikus, a makam of taiva, the makam of yearning and desiring. Because it's you're saying Hadar Kiblu. I accept the Torah. I want to participate. I'm present. The Makabel is here. That's what the Torah is. Okay, that's already Purim Torah from Tukashah.
Yeah. Thank you. Can you send it?